7 Cringey Ways We Fake Being Rich. And why authenticity is the real wealth. In a world that's so heavily influenced by appearances, it's no surprise that many people feel the pressure to project an image of success, luxury, and exclusivity, even if it doesn't always align with their reality. But what happens when these attempts to appear wealthier than one really start to feel? Well, cringy. Let's explore 7 ways some middle-class individuals go overboard in pretending they're living the high life, why they do it, and how we can learn from these behaviors to live more authentically. 1. The over-the-top designer labels. When the price tag defines you, luxury fashion is often seen as a status symbol, a visual representation of success. But the desire to showcase wealth can sometimes backfire when it becomes clear that the designer labels aren't backed by the actual lifestyle. You've probably seen it before, the person with a head-to-toe luxury wardrobe, but no other indicators of true affluence. The collection of brand names feels more like a costume than a representation of wealth. Buying designer items isn't inherently wrong. Fashion can be an art form and a reflection of personal style. However, when the obsession with labels overrides the practicality and authenticity of personal taste, it sends a message that self-worth is tied to external validation. These excessive attempts to impress can sometimes be seen as a mask for deeper insecurities. The cringy aspect comes when the intention behind wearing these high-ticket items is more about making an impression than truly enjoying or appreciating the quality. For many, it's a constant battle to feel accepted or to validate their success in a world that often equates personal worth with outward wealth. It's easy to get caught up in buying labels to fit in, but true luxury is more about confidence in who you are rather than what you wear. Insight: wearing designer clothes doesn't make you rich. Your choices and actions do. Take pride in what you buy and how it reflects your individuality, not the price tag or what it represents to others. Authenticity is always in style. 2. Instagram aesthetic overload, the pressure to live the perfect life. Instagram, along with other social media platforms, has created a generation obsessed with curating a picture-perfect life. People often use filters, carefully chosen backdrops, and meticulously timed photos to project an image of wealth and happiness. But the reality behind the scenes often doesn't match up with the polished, Instagram-worthy moments. It's common for people to fake an upper-class lifestyle for the gram, from stage vacations to pricey dinners and designer accessories. While these moments are often shared to showcase achievements or memorable events, there's a fine line between celebrating accomplishments and trying to live up to an idealized image. The obsession with portraying a luxurious life can lead to self-esteem issues, as individuals feel inadequate if they're not able to keep up with the curated highlights of others. Even more than that, the need to constantly showcase perfect moments can lead to a sense of emptiness. When you spend more time worrying about how your life looks to others than how it feels to you, the sense of true happiness often gets lost in the shuffle. It's the trap of social comparison, always measuring your behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel. Insight: authenticity shines brighter than a perfectly filtered photo. Instead of focusing on how others perceive your life, try to find joy in the real moments, free from the need for validation. The pressure to keep up with others often leads to burnout, and more often than not, an identity crisis. 3. Forcing sophistication in conversation. The fear of appearing unrefined. Sophistication is often equated with intelligence, culture, and success. It's easy to fall into the trap of trying to sound more polished by using elevated language or referencing highbrow topics. But here's the thing. Forcing sophistication in conversation is often transparent. Whether it's dropping the names of expensive wines or mispronouncing gourmet food names, these attempts to appear knowledgeable come off as disingenuous. True sophistication doesn't come from fancy words or name dropping. It comes from a deep appreciation for art, culture, and knowledge, but also from the humility to recognize that everyone's path to wisdom is unique. When we overcompensate with pretentious speech or forced knowledge, we reveal our own insecurities. Authenticity in conversation isn't about impressing others. It's about genuine connection. Insight: it's not about how many facts you know or how many fancy terms you can throw around. Real sophistication lies in being comfortable with who you are, being open-minded, and engaging in thoughtful, respectful conversations that come from a place of curiosity rather than a need to impress. 4. Obsessing over expensive dining. When food becomes a status symbol, dining out at expensive restaurants has become more than just about the food. It's a social activity where people often go out of their way to make sure they're seen at the right places. The constant bragging about gourmet meals, overpriced cocktails, or Instagramming a Michelin-starred dish is an attempt to signal that you've arrived. However, This obsession with dining out in exclusive places often misses the point of food itself. Food, at its core, is about nourishment, culture, and enjoyment, not about flexing in front of others. When we put too much emphasis on expensive dining, we risk overlooking the simpler, more meaningful meals shared with friends and family. It's easy to think that expensive food signifies wealth, but it doesn't necessarily correlate to a fulfilling life. People who truly enjoy food, whether it's at a high-end restaurant or at home, don't use it as a way to prove something to others. Insight: you don't have to dine at the fanciest restaurants to enjoy good food or to feel wealthy. The value of a meal isn't in the price tag, but in the people you share it with and the experiences you create around the table. 5. Over-the-top home decor: the pressure to have a magazine-worthy home. Home decor can be a reflection of one's personality, tastes, and even financial situation. However, when someone spends an excessive amount of money on luxury furnishings just to appear well off, it starts to feel more like a performance than a personal space. The desire to have a home that mirrors the high-end, minimalist design seen in magazines can lead to purchasing things that don't feel meaningful or practical. While it's nice to have a beautiful home, the effort to keep up with trends or to impress others with expensive decor can be draining. True comfort in your home doesn't come from trying to emulate someone else's style, but from creating a space that feels authentic and reflective of your true self. Insight: your home should be a sanctuary, not a showroom. It's okay to invest in things you love, but don't let the desire to impress overshadow your comfort and personal expression. A home filled with love and memories will always be more luxurious than one filled with trendy pieces that don't reflect who you are. 6. The always busy act: striving to be important. In a society that celebrates busy schedules and packed calendars, it can be tempting to boast about how hectic your life is. But there's a difference between being genuinely busy with meaningful work and simply filling your time with distractions to appear important. The always busy act is often a mask for insecurity, an attempt to convey that you're doing something significant and worthwhile. But here's the catch: being busy doesn't necessarily equate to being successful. In fact, it can often be a sign of a lack of focus or poor time management. True success comes from being intentional with your time and having the ability to prioritize what truly matters, not from the sheer volume of tasks on your to-do list. Insight: busy is not the same as productive. Rather than flaunting your hectic schedule, focus on what you can achieve with intention and purpose. Quality always beats quantity, and real success is about making meaningful strides toward your goals, not filling up your calendar with things that don't truly matter. 7. Pretending to be above the common things, looking down on simplicity. Some individuals, in an attempt to distinguish themselves from the common people, try to act as if they're above simple pleasures or activities. They turn their noses up at things like casual dining, taking public transport, or engaging in everyday activities. The idea is that these things somehow undermine their supposed elite status. But here's the reality: true wealth, whether emotional or financial, is grounded in the ability to appreciate life in all its forms. Rejecting simplicity doesn't make you appear refined. It makes you come across as disconnected and out of touch. People who are truly confident in their status don't need to feel superior to others. They understand the value in both luxury and simplicity and know that true class comes from treating everyone with respect, regardless of their background. Insight: the best way to distinguish yourself from others isn't through disdain or rejection, but through kindness, respect, and the ability to embrace both the luxurious and the humble parts of life. True elegance is in your ability to appreciate life's simple moments without feeling the need to constantly demonstrate superiority. Conclusion: authenticity is the key to real success. At the end of the day, pretending to be something you're not doesn't lead to fulfillment. It may bring fleeting admiration, but it doesn't create lasting happiness. True wealth comes from being authentic, from embracing who you truly are, and from cultivating a life that is in alignment with your values, not what others expect of you. So, the next time you catch yourself wanting to impress or overcompensate, remember this: the most confident and successful people are those who don't feel the need to pretend. They know that real success is about living authentically, valuing simplicity, and appreciating the moments that matter most.